Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Yeah, so today we're going to learn how to design that front kissing. Did I say placket? Yeah. Yeah, just like you saw there on the thumbnail, we're going to learn how to do that. It's quite simple, it's not difficult. Within 5 to 10 minutes or less, we should be done doing that. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop my videos, you'll be notified. So for us to do that, we're going to use this navy blue on this our sky blue senator wear. So what I did is just to go ahead and gum the bad side with my gum, my suit gum, S10, how I call it. I gummed it up to the length of where I want my design to reach, and also on this navy blue fabric, I cut it to be basically about 3.5 inches wide. Yes, the length is based on the length you want, 3.5 inches wide. Based on the length you want, you can be all the way down to the end of the fabric of the top, anyhow you want it. So I also went ahead to gum it with my S10, and then we'll start the work. The next thing I did was to press it to have a center line showing. You see, this one, so I press it to have a center line showing, because this is what is going to guide us when we are sewing. So let's hit right into the video and sew it. So for us to do our design, simply, we're not wasting time, we are going to sew just a little bit beside this center line here. I'm not going to sew on the center line exactly, I'm going to sew a little bit beside it. For that, I need my stitches to be very tight. Since the allowance in between the two stitches is not going to be much, my stitch should be very tight so that when I finally open it with scissors, there will be no pulling out at any point. So we are now going to start sewing. So as we're going to start sewing, what we must take note is that this line here on this navy blue material must be matching this line on this sky blue. Okay, they must be matching, they must match each other, they must be together. So you can use your pins to hold it together here before you start sewing so that the fabric won't shake. But I do this even without the pins with ease, so I don't want to use those pins. So make sure they are matching. This line and this line are matching. That is the most important thing. Okay, so once they are matching each other, you now sew a little bit outside this line. That is your first line. So I'm opening like this to see that the lines are facing each other before I sew. That's all. Mind you, I'm sewing beside the line, not on top of the line. When I'm done, I'll still show you before I'll go ahead to cut it. Like I said, you can make design all the way to the end of the fabric. Depends on how you want it, but I think from what I want to do, this one is okay for me. I don't want to do it too long. Alright, so here it's okay for me. So I'm going to turn it this way. I'll give it I'll stitch it like twice. Okay, so I'm still going to turn it this way. Let me add one more. Yeah, I'm just going to turn it this way, and I'll stitch all the way to the end again. See, like I've always told you in other videos, I like using contrasting color of thread so that you can see what I'm doing. That's why I'm using a sky blue thread so that you can see what is happening here. You see, I've finished sewing this line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to divide it in the middle. All right, I'm going to divide this line in the middle carefully. Let the allowance be evenly distributed, because if one side the allowance is too tiny, it will cause it to pull off. So all right, see, so when I get to this point here, I'm going to cut to this side, cut to one side like this. Yes, then I'll cut to the other side also like this. Hope you get that. Very important at the end point here. That is very, very important. So the next thing I'm going to do is to push this inwards, push it inside to the back. Yes, push it inside to the back. All right. Yes. So this is what we are really looking for. Okay. Yeah, you see. So next thing we are going to do, you see, can we see what we're having here? It's appearing so tiny. So we are going to sew right. See this allowance we're giving. It's very tiny. Okay. Now I am going to sew on the edge of this sky blue, not the navy blue, on the edge of the sky blue. So watch me carefully. And on getting to the end here, if you look at the end here, the end here is quite open. Can we see this? So what we do is that we'll push this allowance this side to come half an inch. We'll push this other one this side to also come half an inch, and they will meet in the middle, closing up that gap. All right. So I've pushed them to come, both of them to come, and they're now in the middle, closing up this gap. All right. This is very important at this point. Very, very important. All right. So you can see what we have here. Both of them have come both sides, and we are having both of them meeting here to close up that allowance. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to start sewing this from here up, from here up, maintaining that tiny allowance I've created. So what I showed you closely there, what I'm doing right here, sewing all the way up, maintaining that tiny allowance I created by pushing both sides to come out. All right. Right, so now sewing all the way up, I'm sewing on that little allowance there that I showed you. It's less than quarter an inch, sewing all the way to the end. Now do the same thing to this other side, using that tiny allowance there, also all the way to where I started sewing this other side. This is quite simple. And if you are paying attention and following me, you should also find it this simple and easy to understand. So we see right here, and we see what we have right here. It's as simple and straightforward as this. Okay, simple and straightforward as this. All right, so the next thing, one will be wondering, how do you put buttons? Okay, there are several ways to this. You can bring a separate fabric for your button, but I don't like attaching any separate fabric here for your pressing button. What I normally do is to simply bring this back, and it forms my button allowance. All right, you see, this forms my button allowance. Can you see this? This forms my button allowance. Okay, so all I need is just to push it back. This allowance that went this way, so I just brought it back. Okay, and it becomes my button allowance. All I need to do is just to stitch here so that it will lie flat, and there my button allowance is created. So we can see our design is well made. Instead of attaching a separate fabric here for the pressing button to sit on it, I quickly just push back the allowance. Like this allowance went this way, I pushed it back. All right, the one for this side, I pushed it back to come back and form the base for my pressing button. And here I have my design neatly made. So if you like this, hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on, so that whenever I drop my videos, you will be notified. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Thank you.